please. All I want is a hug." The woman stared at me, her eyes filled with disgust, disdain, and terror. The sight of me repelled her. I knew that much. I'm repugnant, a creature only darkness could accept. I've tried so desperately to come to terms with my ailment, but the older I got, the harder it became. Do you know how hard it is to crave human contact and yet never receive it? To yearn what you can't have. It is truly unbearable. The woe to be human and yet always be on the cusp of society, always shunned, always rejected and avoided. For the longest time, I wished I was never born. I wished desperately to be back inside my mother's amniotic sac, where there was love and comfort. I wanted to be back where it was warm. This world wasn't warm. It had never shown me any kindness. I killed my mother, you know. The doctors had never heard of my condition before they saw me and what I did to her. Her insides were shredded, they all said. Can you imagine that? I always have. I had always imagined that the insides of my mother looked like shredded beef. When she died, I was taken away, hidden and shrouded behind white coats, needles, and scalpels. They cut me open so many times, rummaged around in my insides to find the cause of my ailment. They would put me back together again, and the next day it would happen all over. They never did find out what was wrong with me, why I was the way I was. But they never wanted to let me out, no. A creature like me, one that society could never understand, could never accept. They knew what that would do to me. But I escaped. I did. I have walked amongst them now for the first time since I was nothing but a blood-covered babe. It's been wonderful. Oh, how I have ached for this moment. I have exposed myself to them, taken what I've wanted to take. It hasn't come without its trials, though. I live in fear every day. The thing I fear the most is rejection. It's the one thing I can't handle. The one thing that could potentially push me over the edge. What if this woman rejects me? What if she goes away, like my mother did? What would I do then? I couldn't help myself, though. It's the only thing in the world that I ever needed and that I ever wanted. My condition prevented me from doing what I wanted most. The doctors always told me that I would never be able to hug anyone. But most importantly, they told me that I didn't deserve to. But they were wrong. This woman stood before me. The hate and the filth just radiating off of her. I could feel it all, and all I wanted to do was hug her. I knew I could take the pain away, and in turn take my own pain away. This is the only way. I needed this. I could feel her fear, as I am sure she could feel mine. I was just as frightened as she was. After all, I had never done anything like this before. "What are you doing?" she exclaimed as I walked towards her. She stared wide-eyed at the knives that protruded from my skin. The long, sharp blades that have been the bane of my existence. They bulged out of my flesh, pierced my arms, my torso, and my legs. It's how I was born, you see. It's how my mother died as I came out of her. The blades that swelled out of my skin cut her open from the inside out. She screamed as I embraced her, the woman. I was showered in her blood as my blades entered her at all angles. They pierced her organs. As I smiled to myself, a wave of terror crept over me, chilling my blood. What if this is the last hug I will ever have?